Good morning, beloveds. So I had an experience that I hadn't had in probably a year and a half. That's an exaggeration. We went to the movies last night. Actually went to the movie theater and sat in chairs and watched a movie. And it was good to be back. It was good to be back. There have been some movies that have come to the theater, I like watching movies in movie theaters. Because this is one of those, now you have the option, you can pay like $30 and watch it in your own home. And I'm like, but big screen. So, but there were a fair number of people in there, but not a lot. And so, it was also a Thursday night. Nobody goes to the movie on Thursday night except for us, so but it was interesting to go back to the movie theater. They still have all the employees wearing masks, but they do not have signs on the door so the customers don't have to wear masks, which was interesting. And I was of two minds. I've been vaccinated, so I was like, still trying to do this whole, but it wasn't crowded. So I think that's where I'm at. It's like, if it's crowded, I'm going to wear a mask. And if it's not, then I'm probably not going to. But it was interesting. So, life is slowly returning to some semblance of normalcy. I'm definitely going with a new normal, though. I don't want to go back to the old nonsense. It is July 16th. Our title is I Have Sympathy. Our Bible quote is, "My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth." And that is 1 John 3:18. Humanity and divinity will be identical when we recognize divinity in humanity. We must learn to see through the apparent, to judge not according to appearances, to realize that at the center of every man's soul is God enthroned. God is enthroned. Sympathy and compassion are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. Sympathy is the most gentle of all human virtues, for it is the outpouring of the divine givingness through man. Today, I extend the hand of sympathy to everyone I meet. I permit my inward vision to penetrate every apparent obstruction, every obstinate attempt to cover up the divine, every ignorant misuse of the law of good. I withdraw the veil that hides my real self, and in so doing, unveil the reality in others. Today, I love as never before. I draw close to the Spirit in everything and everyone. I know that God's action is right action, and that all things work together for good in my experience. My word shall objectify itself as cooperation, sympathy, and love. I am not afraid to make demands upon myself. I recognize the harmonious self which I am, and I know that this self will find its perfect expression. I am receptive to new and greater ideas of good for myself and others. So that's what I'm talking about the willingness to see others as a child of God, no matter what. We can talk about sympathy, we can talk about empathy, and all of that, but the point being that no matter what, physical appearances, what actions they're taking, what their past is, what decisions they have made, to see the other as a child of God. Now, I say that. And that does not mean that we have to subject ourselves to their bad behavior, if that is what we're dealing with. Because when people are wonderful and good and kind and all that, it's easy to see them as children of God. It is. It is. When people are acting out, it's harder. That's which is, I have sympathy. It's when people are behaving badly, it's harder to see them as children of God. And so that's the challenge. That is absolutely the challenge. I dare say the mission is to see absolutely everyone, no matter what, as a child of God. It doesn't mean we have to subject ourselves to their bad behavior. But it does mean that in our interactions with them, whatever they may be, that we err on the side of kindness, on the side of compassion. Now, so then we can go back to and discuss the Buddhist idea of love, which is subjective, not objective, or as we in the West would call it, tough love. So if somebody is behaving badly, then you kindly remove yourself from the situation. Meaning you can look at them and say, look, I love you, but this isn't healthy for either one of us. I'm going to go over here, okay? But that's what I mean. You don't burn them and tell them how terrible they are. You simply state, I don't agree with your decisions. I'm not going to be a party to this. I'm going to go over here. When and if you decide that you want to come back into relationship with me, then these are the ground rules. You do it kindly, you do it with empathy, you do it with compassion, but you don't tolerate it. So in that way, you are acknowledging them as a child of God. You are being kind, you are being compassionate, but you are also protecting yourself as a child of God. Sometimes people think that when you have sympathy and when you have empathy, that it means you're a doormat. And that's not the case at all. That is not the case at all. It means that you are kind when you interact with them. It does not mean you have to interact with them. If you got a situation, I have a couple of people that their conversations I will not have with them. And I just kindly redirect those conversations because I know myself that if we have that conversation, I'm not capable of being kind, So it's like, I can't have that conversation with you because I will get all up in myself and not be able to do it. So in sympathy for you, we're not going to have that conversation, and that's kindness for both of us. It's like, because we'll just both get mad and frustrated and, have that and be that way. And I'm just not going to do that. So that's so I want to remind you, okay, so this is how we have sympathy. It doesn't mean that we're a doormat. It does kind of give us that idea of, I love you, but, I'm going to be kind, but I'm not going to put myself in the situation where you can continue to do this. It's like, I love you, but I'm going to do it from over here. So I have sympathy. That's the title. I have sympathy. And the Bible quote, my little children, let us not love in word. I'm not going to tell you that I love you and not follow it up with loving actions. Okay? Neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. So, frequently, and it happens, people will say things and then not follow through. There's a song, and I absolutely love the song, and it's called More Than Words. And that's exactly what, if I took those words away from you, how would you show me that you loved me? So, there's that side of the coin too. The words are nice, and we need to hear them, but go and learn about the 5 love languages. Spending time with somebody, acts of service, bringing gifts, saying the words. There's one more that I'm forgetting. because there's 5 of them, and I've just listed 4. Those are, it's not just about the words. Not just about the words. And it's also not about hanging around and being a doormat. Humanity and divinity will be identical when we recognize the divinity in humanity. That's what I'm talking about, the child of God. You are a child of God. I am a child of God. When we recognize each other as a child of God and we behave that way towards each other, we must learn to see through the apparent, to judge not according to appearances, to realize that at the center of every person's soul, God is enthroned. Recognize that that is a child of God. You are a child of God. When you look in your own eyes, see the child of God. Sympathy and compassion are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding and in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. So sympathy and compassion are the ties that bind. That is one of the reasons why one of the main outreaches of most religions is through their charitable works. There are very few religious organizations that don't do some kind of charity work, compassionate work, where they show up and they do. Now, I have issues where they show up and they say, if you convert to my religion, I will do. That's not, no. You show up and you do, and then people ask you, well, why do you do this? And you say, well, because of this, because I believe this. And then if they choose to convert. But, I'm not out there running all the missionary organizations. I wouldn't want to. But that's, you show up and you do. You love indeed. You love indeed. And then the words can follow. Because me just telling you I love you without ever actually doing anything, it doesn't mean that I love you. So I have to do. I have to recognize the child of God within you in more than just word. Same, opposite. And yeah, that's what makes the world go round, is that service orientation. Ugh. Sympathy is the most gentle of all human virtues, for it is the outpouring of the divine givingness through people. Okay? Sympathy is the outpouring of the divine givingness. Sympathy is literally us being the hands and the feet and the heart and the ears and the mouth of God. That's it. That's it. Today, I extend the hand of sympathy to everyone I meet. Today, I choose to see everyone I meet as a child of God. I permit my inward vision to penetrate every apparent obstruction, every obstinate attempt to cover up the divine, every ignorant misuse of the law of good. It means that I'm willing to look through, to see, and to forgive. Really, that, yeah, it's to look through and see that frequently anger is covering up fear, or anger is covering up pain, and to see that that they're getting the results they're getting because they don't know better. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to swoop in and because my way is better, but I can give them the grace of saying, hey, you're a beloved child of God. You'll figure it out. And if I can help, please let me help. But if you don't want my help, I know that it will come to you. That the help that you are seeking, the knowledge that you're seeking will come to you. I withdraw the veil that hides my real self. So I'm going to be authentic. and in doing so, unveil the reality in others. When you act as the authentic, loving, beloved child of God that you are, you give people permission to be who they are. It really is that's one of the things that we love. We talk about our geek flag. When we let our geek flag fly, then we give other people permission to be the geeks that they are. And geeks are proud. I mean, we're proud. We're proud of who we are. And so when we do that, we give other people permission. So that's what I love about the cosplays and the Renaissance festivals and all of that, where people come out and they look around and they go, wow, these people are weird, but it's cool and I want to do it. You let your geek flag fly. You let your love flag fly. You let all of that fly. You be your authentic self. You be who you are. And you give people permission to be who they are. And frequently, you'll find out that they're pretty cool people underneath who they think they have to be. So, today, I love as never before. I draw close to the Spirit in everything and everyone. I know that God's action is right action and that all things work together for the good in my experience. My word shall objectify itself as cooperation, sympathy, and love. Meaning, I'm going to speak my word and follow it up with action. I'm going to treat and move my feet. I am not afraid to make demands upon myself because I know that I am plugged into a source that is infinite. That the source of love and power and strength that I need is always available to me because it's coming from an infinite loving source. A source that always says yes. So I'm not afraid to make the demands on myself to do this. Because I got it. I've got the backing of Spirit to do this. I recognize the harmonious self, which I am. That's what spiritual practice is for, to recognize that harmonious self. And I know that this self will find its perfect expression. I am going to be who I am. I am receptive to new and greater ideas of good for myself and others. All right. So our mission today, should we choose to accept it? He says, today I extend the hand of sympathy to everyone I meet. Okay. I'm going to say that that's the mission, to extend the hand of sympathy to everyone I meet by recognizing them as the beloved child of God that they are, by recognizing yourself as the beloved child that you are, and by being your authentic self so that they feel the permission to be themselves with you. When you are a soft place for the children of God, then people feel safe being who they are with you. All right? That's so they can peel off the layers of who they have been told that they are and be who they actually are. That's what it means to be a soft place, or to be an island of peace. To be, I don't want to be an island of peace. I want to live in a world of peace. And right now what that means is that I am an island of peace. I am a soft place. I am a place where people can come and be who they are. Where they can come and be that beloved child of God that they truly are underneath all the nonsense. That's my goal. So I'm going to extend that sympathy to everyone I meet. All right, beloveds. I am going to move into the process of my day, and I'm going to encourage you, as I always do, to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like. Absolutely whatever it looks like. I found a hawk feather today and a mockingbird feather today. Pretty cool. And then I watched a mockingbird and a robin kind of square off in the street. And I was like, really? We're going to have this argument in the street? And they separated a little bit and watched me walk by. And I don't know what happened after I left. But it was a good walk. And I enjoyed it. And that was my loving, kind, compassionate. Because I listen to good music. I go and look around at the beauty in my neighborhood. And I engage my mind and my body. And it's fantastic. And that is something that is loving and kind and compassionate for myself. To go listen to the birds sing. So find something. Find something. Every day. And it can be the same thing or it can be a different thing. I mean, it would be a great challenge to find a different loving, kind, compassionate thing for yourself every day. And you can start with doing it for a week and then extend it for a month. And then suddenly you're doing it for a year and then suddenly it's a habit. And that's what I'm going for. I'm going for encouraging you to make a habit of being loving and kind and compassionate with yourself. Because the more loving and kind and compassionate you are with yourself, the more that you will have for everyone else. So that you can make a statement of, I am sympathy. I have sympathy. You can make those statements and it'll be true. All right, beloveds. It is Friday. I don't know what to tell you. Feel free to email info@creativelife.org. I'm not sure that there's anything going on Friday, but it does mean I get to go to the park tomorrow. So please check out Reverend David. He'll be on around 5 p.m. I'll be back with you around 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. 9 a.m. tomorrow after I get to go to the park. So we'll see about that timing. And we are back in-person services at Creative Life Spiritual Center. So you can still watch us on Facebook Live. You can still catch us on the Creative Life Spiritual Center YouTube channel. But you can also come in person at the 11 a.m. service. That's the only one that we've got going right now is the 11 a.m. on Sunday. So we'll see you there. And you can always catch me on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel because that's where these are archived. So do what you need to do to make it a wonderful day, all right? You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased. Always. Always and forever. So open up those windows of your soul. Allow that breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven now. Be who you are. Be who you are. Always. All right, beloveds. I'll see you tomorrow.